Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Good, good.
Yeah. The light in my room isn't so great, but
Right,
I'll
let me see. Make sure
do
I can
my
see. Yeah,
best.
coming from the side, it depends on your orientation. I don't know if you can turn or.
Ugh.
We can see, yeah, but it's kind of dark. That's all.
Yeah, what happened there? 1 second.
No worries, sir.
Those two. Here we are. Good.
Better. Let's see. It's a little better.
Right.
Yeah, I could have done with sort of my lighting a bit better this morning, but it's more about what we can hear. So,
Yeah.
good morning,
Good
Marla. How are
morning.
you? Have you been running classes and getting people up and about and busy this morning?
Yeah, I've already had my 7 a.m. class, my 10 a.m. class, and I filmed a video for a small group I have in the US. So I've been pretty busy already.
Okay,
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yeah, I'm good. You're hearing me?
Yeah, all loud and clear. That's cool.
Awesome.
So I'll leave on that mic because I've got my Yeti mic set up, but it's working through my webcam mic. So as long as it's coming through clear, that's good. So we had a brief chat last week. I don't know if you've seen any of the other interviews I've done. So we've done, obviously, Sean Anthony Blackwood. He helped you a little years ago, so we'll get into that. Amaru, you've done.
Yeah, I saw that one. I saw that one. I shared it with my groups. I thought that was quite a good one. Love listening to Amaru anyway.
Yeah, he's awesome, man, isn't he? So it was nice getting his input and ideas on what's happening, because obviously he really knows an awful lot about immunology, endocrinology, the whole shebang. But his main, kind of question and therefore answer was, why aren't we just telling people to be healthier? Why don't we implement this? Why don't we learn from it that people need to move more, eat less processed foods, and maybe boost health with a few vitamins and minerals, and then we would be more resilient against anything like this, again, second and third waves. And that message doesn't seem to be one that's getting shared an awful lot. So it's great that people like yourself and Amara and me and thousands of other professionals are doing that, but it wouldn't be, kind of too difficult to put that out in all the mainstream media. It's like, come on, folks. In a little touch on, I'd get your exercise and eat healthier, but for a lot of people, they have no idea what that means. People are screaming and shouting they want to get back to the gyms. I have very mixed feelings about that, but we need to encourage that people do the movement. And a lot of people feel lost because they don't understand just how important a walk is. I think people downplay how beneficial some fresh air and a walk And there's people running classes. So give us your views on that. In fact, before we do that, give us a proper intro to you, your background, kind of how you got into this, how we met, things like that, if you will.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, Marla Murray. I own a small studio in Bracknell, which of course is physically not operating at the minute. So we've moved all our classes online. Yeah, I've been into, being as a living, as a profession, I've been into fitness since I think 2013. Before that, I was a corporate person, IT project manager for a pharmaceutical company.
Ooh.
And yeah, I know. I did that.
Bad farmer.
Don't hold it against me. I did that for several years. Yeah. And,
I hope you cried a lot in confession while you were there.
Yeah, I would, trying to what was it? Trying to get some forgiveness for my sins. Though. Yeah. But traveled the world, did a lot of stuff there, and then but always had an interest in health and fitness. To be honest. So at a certain age, decided, what, I'm going to pursue what it is I truly believe I ought to be doing. So, started off as a PT, opened a gym, September would be 2 years. And, I work mostly with women, I dare say middle-aged. Some of them are not middle-aged, so they may not like that. But I work mostly with women. And for me, it's really trying to move the conversation beyond just, I want to lose weight, to more, I really want to be healthy and I want to be able to carry my bags at 100. and travel by myself and get out of a soft chair. And really, that's where I want to take the conversation. But, you know, it's the competing forces are all about transform your body in 6 weeks and all that kind of stuff. So it's been, you know, I continue to try and push the conversation beyond belly fat. But every now and again, you know, you need to make a living, so you fall back into having those conversations. But, you know, try my best to move the conversation.
So we'll go into that in more detail. Something that people might find interesting, because a lot of people think, you know, personal training, and you do a lot more than that, obviously, with the nutrition and all the other stuff and some mindset. As you said, your main demographic, not exclusively, but would be women or possibly, you know, kind of in the middle ages of their life. So lots of responsibilities with families, this, that, and the other, and maybe want to get back to prioritizing themselves a little bit. The dynamic of what's happening at the moment will have changed that for a lot of people, because obviously they can't come and see you personally. So we'll get your thoughts on how it works remotely, both for what you can do physically, but also the communication aspect and the rapport building and stuff. But how easy, how glamorous, how day-to-day exciting is your job now, running the studio and now remotely, compared to the corporate world? Obviously, you must have worked a lot harder in the corporate world, because we all know the personal training job is easy. You can get a certificate online, and the adverts say you can earn £90,000 a year and you can do it from home. And is that the truth?
No, it's not the truth, right? So I have to admit, I mean, you know, I came into this, I think a lot of people start a business the way I started a business, right? You know, I want to be a personal trainer. That's going to be easy. Everybody wants to. You start getting into it, and you're like, wow, you know, there's a lot more here than just taking people into the gym and beasting them or whatever. And you know, it's a much deeper than that. The whole mindset thing is such a huge part of trying to get people to identify what it is they really want, what it goes, and how much work they're prepared to do. Right, because a lot of people say
that can be frustrating. Because I know, obviously, we've interacted and I've helped with a couple of complex cases, but I know sometimes when you've been up to see me, and we'll get into that, how frustrated we all get with people who come to you. You know, they'll invariably probably haggle about the money as well, and you get what you pay for. You know, but then they think it's just going to happen. And you write out a bespoke, individualized program for them, and the same with the nutrition plan, and they're all for it. And then you keep a check on it, and they're not doing it. They're not doing the cardio. They think because they see you maybe twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever it might be, and they're like, why aren't I getting the results? So that's frustrating, huh?
It is frustrating, right? So I have stepped back a lot from that and try and identify what it is people really want.
Good.
You know, and how much work are you really prepared to do, right? And if it's not, you know, I'm trying to make it really clear, you do get based on the effort you put into this, right? So if you, you know, a lot of, you know, I have a few clients, middle-aged, and, you know, I want to get back this, you know, I had really great legs when I was younger, really flat tummy. I'm like, yeah, me too. Yeah, so, you know, it's like, it's not that those things are not impossible, but it's not going to just happen.
No, right? So I mean, age catches us, but it doesn't mean we give up, and it doesn't mean we can't achieve amazing things. So, well, let's talk about that first, and then we'll kind of backtrack as to how we met. So, you said that you said, well, of course we all want that. I want that too. In your words, there, great legs and, you know, flat tummy. But I'm pretty sure you achieved that a couple of years ago. Give us a bit of background on that and how it led to that. So how we met, what you've done with me, and indirectly through people like Amaru, and then what it led to, the torture and pain and early mornings and probation and all of the fun stuff.
Exactly, right? Yeah, so we met, I think, God, it's been quite a few years ago. I mean, you know, Claire invited me to a talk you were giving at a gym in London. I can't even remember.
What was that? For Galaxy in Ilford.
Yes, right. Yeah, and you were doing that talk
Yeah,
there, right? And it was like, you got to hear this guy. He's really good. I'm like, okay.
I've got nothing better to do.
Yeah. And I check up to London and I listen to you. I was really impressed. And for a few years, I think I kind of just followed you. I didn't really interact too much. And then I started doing some of your courses. I was like, oh, this is really good. And started looking at some of the results you were getting with people you were training for the stage, right? And I had it in the back of my head that that's something I wanted to do, but something I said to you, like at the beginning, I was like, I kept saying to you, actually, I want to do that, but I just can't be hungry. I just can't be hungry.
And I always said, there's going to be a little barrier to success there, maybe.
I remember you said that to me. You're like, doing that show about that, right? But eventually, I got there. I made a decision. I was like, all right, I'm going to get myself prepped for the stage because I was training.
Yeah.
But of course, it's very different from when you're training with a really specific goal and when you're training with a coach. Right, so it's like really, really, especially when you train with a coach that's not going to start for any nonsense.
Could that be?
Yeah, who could that be, right? So I decided, all right, fine, let's do it, and we met. I think the first meeting was in your kitchen. We took some pictures. One of the things I kind of liked is you really wanted to understand why it is I wanted to do this because you weren't, you kind of told me, this is not going to be a walk in the park. Yeah. And he said, like, a lot of people just give up and, they just don't see it through. And you really wanted to make sure that I understood that and what I was kind of getting myself into. And I was like, sure, I'm going to do it. Right. And, part of me not giving up was because I was like that. Once I said, yes, I'm going to do it. I do it even though there may be times when I'm like, why am I doing this? Right? And there were enough times where I kind of
That's why we had that talk. That's why I give that talk. So you've got it set in your mind. I mean, I'm sure everybody that comes to me, and I've done this since I started prepping, and we're going back a long time. It was 1994, prepped my first bodybuilder, was my training partner at the time, Huey, who was a fireman, and then my first British champion, who was a female turned pro, winning the overall British Championships '96. But the why has always been important to me because that's the motivating factor. That particular young lady who went on to win a pro card had won the British Championships 2 years running, 94, 95. It's a very high standard, but had not earned that elusive pro card by winning the overall British Championships, which was then EFBB, now UK BFF. And it was literally 2.5, 3 weeks before the show, looking amazing. We were doing some posing practice, and how hard I get people practice posing, choreography, stance, presentation. And the amount of times I've minced up and down that studio in the gym, including myself teaching women how to walk in heels, is quite. I don't wear the heels, by the way, folks. And she was like, I can't do it. And I was like, but, and she said, this is a different level stuff. And I went, and that's what's going to make you different level stuff. So I have to get into your mindset about why it's important. Same as I gave you the talk, obviously, you're a family woman, you've got your beautiful little girl, and it's like, it's going to impact on them. And I'm sure people think I'm trying to put them off. I'm not. I'm just not somebody that's going to take people on, who haven't got the potential, who don't understand what's going on just for the money or just to build my reputation. It's about doing the job properly. That's about respecting people and their psychology and their mental health as much as their physical health, rather than just putting somebody on stage who's shot to bits emotionally, is shot to bits physically, an immune system suppressed, an endocrine system, hormones are all over the place. And we know this is far too common. And that's why we have that talk. And I'm sure you're probably like, Christ, is he, doesn't he want me to do it? I just want you to do it for the right reasons. I want you to do it in the right way. So, that is a big thing that people are very often surprised. But then, as you know, I'll keep reminding you about why we started.
Why you started it,
And that keeps you going.
Yeah, I mean, and that I did see it through, and I got on the stage. And, I have to admit that the hardest part for me, actually, was surprisingly not the aspect of sticking to the diet. Once I got my head into it, of course, it was.
I remember that took a while as well. It was like, and then I remember I got some results, and it says, "Oh, you don't," and you were like, "Yes." I was like, kind of would have helped if you'd have done this before, but then you saw that proof gave you this
Yeah.
massive motivation. Then you were unstoppable. You're like a machine then. But
Yeah, that
it was
was
like
what,
trying to get a big rock rolling, and it was a bit of a push. And then all of a sudden, like, there she goes, we're on it. So,
right. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people, even if you're not going for the stage or anything, is that the idea that they give up so quickly. Yeah, because I think there is trying to get some momentum and trying to get your head into it in the beginning, right? And that, depending on the individual, may take longer, shorter, whatever. But you have to keep going with it until you get your head into it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of folks just like, this is not working for me. But I mean, I hadn't done that before, right? So it was trying to teach my mind and my body what needs to happen. Yeah, and once I got it, I was off and running. I mean, the difficult part to me was when we was trying to really get onto the stage now, and the walks, the 2-hour walks, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. But we got there, and I was really pleased with what I was able to accomplish.
Oh, mate. And at what age, if you don't mind me asking, what age were you when you stepped on stage in this show, your first ever show?
Gosh, I think I was 50. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. So I might have been 55, 56.
55, yeah, 55.
Yeah.
Not bad. That's not bad to get started, huh?
Right.
How did that impact, if you don't mind me asking, on your family, husband and daughter especially? I mean, because people underestimate how important it is for them to understand why you're doing it, that they have that journey as well, and they go through some difficult times because a lot of the social things that you would normally do as a family become restrictive, not just about eating, but going places, because you've got to have your meals, you've got to get your training. They are very much a part of the team. They are Team Marla. So how did that feel, and how great support were they? Because I know, having met them on the day of the show, they were fantastic.
And I have to say that I'm very fortunate. Yes, so my husband is like incredibly supportive, right? And he was, like if I wanted to have a chocolate, he'd be like, "No, you can't have that," right? So he was incredibly supportive because he knew what I wanted to accomplish. Yeah. My daughter, of course, was really proud. Look at mommy with a 6-pack.
Well, I wanted to bring that up because this was always kind of your nemesis, wasn't it? And that's why I wanted to bring up the story, because I'm glad you have, because you said about the flat tummy. So this was always kind of your nemesis. And then I remember one time you came up and your daughter had said something. Tell us about that then.
Yeah, my daughter's, she always gets me. It's like, "Oh, Bobby, you have a flabby tummy all the time," right? So I was like, yeah, so it's not something that bothers me. I just kind of laugh at her. But when the 6-pack did show up, she was like, she was totally shocked. She didn't think it was possible. And I was quite pleased, actually, that she saw that this is something I could do once I put in the work. Because, I mean, a lot of what I'm doing is setting an example. Yeah. So I was quite pleased when she said, wow, that is actually possible. It's and I think that's a lot of things that women, people in general, they don't think it's possible for them. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you dated that, and I was like, look, it will happen. That's a stubborn area. And, we were like, just wait and see. And then I remember when you came up and she said that, and it was like, she thinks you're a superhero now.
Exactly, right. Yeah.
You, I remember, because you would travel all the way up. See me to Boeing. How long was the journey to come and see me?
I was 2 hours, right? If I didn't get lost.
Right. So But we would do a workout, we would talk, we would evaluate the situation. I would tell you to do, maybe a bit more cardio. You would pull a face, and we'd have a talk about that. And I remember when we got into the posing, you were like, "Oh, well, what's this about now?"
Exactly.
You nailed that as well. So that support system is very important. But I think it's fair to say, when you're doing it properly and you're not starving, I mean, of course, we're cutting back calories, but we don't zero carb. We don't go into silly low hypercalorific intake. We've got to keep your energy up. You're running your studio. In fact, you're really launching your studio. You had a lot on your plates, not food-wise, just business-wise and family management and everything. So what you did was absolutely commendable. So I was quite shocked and happy, but I was surprised when. What did you say to me after the show? Because people go one of two ways. You pretty much said straight away what?
Yeah, I said straight away I want to do it again, but I
Yeah.
have to admit that after a few more trials, my focus had kind of changed,
Yeah.
and I started looking at, okay, I'm trying to
Focus
grow a
changed. You went
business.
out to Carnival in Trinidad.
Well, yeah, my focus changed after Carnival, right? Because Carnival is also very much a show because you're in, you're in costume. So I kind of like kept it till that,
There
which
wasn't a
was,
lot to the costume. Well, not
yeah,
coming,
there
not
wasn't
behind.
outside of the feathers, there wasn't much more. And I was really pleased with that as well, because again, by that time I'm now 57.
Mhm.
Right. And I thought, wow, this is awesome that I'm able to pull this kind of stuff off. I mean, I had a couple of friends, I went to Carnival with some friends and so, and they were like, man, how do you do that? Right.
I remember that that was another target for you. You wanted to impress people. You wanted to give that wow factor to your friends and family.
Yeah, yeah.
Because as you said, it is a show, but you looked $1 million in that costume.
Costume, yeah.
You, it was almost like another show, competition, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, those things I was really, really pleased with the outcome. But then after that, my focus changed about, trying to build a business and trying to inspire um, women to, like, take up the mantle, take responsibility for your own health and fitness. You don't have to get on stage and all that stuff, but focus on trying to be healthy.
But this is
that's
important that,
really,
because some people, kind of chase that dream of being a super champion and all the titles. And at the end of the day, it's great. And you've got all the silverware. I mean, look at Sean, and we'll give a shout out to Sean, because I know he helped you backstage, and Ravi was there and competed. But let's show the boys and girls what you achieved. Let's have a quick look. If I can find it. Who's that then? Do you see it?
Yeah.
Doo-doo.
Yeah.
That's you with your trophies. So tell us how you did at the show.
Yeah, so what did I come in second? Yeah, so
second,
that was also like, wow.
The Musclemania British Championship. So not a bad call. And there's Ravi there. I think he was third. Ravi had always carried a lot of weight as well. He had some very bad and dangerous advice to the point where it affected him medically, to the point where he had to go to the hospital and stuff. He had some really horrendous advice in the past. But the two of you were just so happy, but did it properly, healthily. And this is it. That picture alone, for the ladies and gentlemen that you are working with, that proves something. That's an inspiration. That's a motivation right there. You haven't just done it and played at it. You've done it properly. You presented an awesome, package on stage with your presentation, with your posing, which I know didn't come to you naturally at all. But you've gone home with something that says number 2 in Britain. But that carries over then, that discipline. Would you agree, to other areas of your life? Because you're like, well, I was out there, as you said, every morning for an hour. In the evening, I was practicing my posing. I was hitting my weights 4 or 5 times a week. I was, calculating and cooking and prepping my food. So that regime, that discipline, that dedication can then, when you're having, bad days with the business or whatever, just kind of come on. I've been through stuff before.
Yeah, and that's what I do remind myself about. Come on, I've done it before. It's doable. We need some focus here. We need some discipline. You can't give up. I mean, my thing is, you really just can't give up. It's not necessarily will happen overnight. Nothing really does, but you just can't. You might have to tweak. Play at it a different way, come from a different angle. But you just can't get up. Not if it's something that you truly want.
That's the important thing, isn't it? If you really want something, you'll find a way, not an excuse. So on that, how has the current situation affected? Because it must be frustrating. You've built up this studio, you've worked hard. It's an amazing facility. Got some lovely stuff in there. You made it look really nice for the people, because it's not a spit and sawdust. It's a high-end studio. With personal attention, and then you've had to close the freaking door.
Right. I mean, I was this is interesting. Part of the good thing is I am a little bit techie, so I was able to just switch to online training over the weekend, right? So that happened, and over the weekend just switch, get my Zoom up. I had some programs, get my programs in a format that I can deliver them. And then, just announce to my clients that we're online. You need to download the Zoom app and see you at 7 o'clock on Monday.
Yeah.
Right?
If you told me that, I'd be scared. I'd be there at 7 in the morning.
Right, yeah. I mean, and the way I do it is I have 4 classes running in the day.
Right.
Okay, and people have an option which class they
brilliant.
choose.
That's good. That's
right.
Good.
And I put up a schedule, so I tell people what we'd be doing at each class so they can choose, right? One of the things I had done was I took an inventory from people as to, okay, so what do you have at home? Do you have a kettlebell? Do you have dumbbells? Do you have bands or nothing? And based on what people said they had, I then created classes trying to meet everyone's needs.
Brilliant. Right? That's good because you've made it individualized while in a small group.
Yeah, right. So that's what we do, and that's what we've been doing now for, this is going on to the 8th week. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. So that's what.
Feels like the 8th year, but
yeah. Right. Yeah, it does. Right. But that it's working out okay. Right. I mean, there is this, and every now and again, what I do is, people's push-ups are horrible, squats are horrible. Yeah. So every now and again, I kind of step back and say, right. So next week, we're going to have 2 or 3 workshops on how to squat or how
so you
to
do like
do a push-up.
A technique workshop.
Yeah.
Tidy up what they're doing in the class.
That's right.
That's good. That's good.
Right. So like this morning, we had a push-up workshop, right? So how to do a press-up, right? And go through exactly the details and make people try it. So I can see and adjust people as I'm looking at them on the screen. Yeah. So that seems to be working out well, and of course, we know everybody's falling off the nutrition bandwagon, trying to get people back onto, you got to leave the house at some point. You want to look halfway decent when you leave the house, right? Yeah, so it's not too bad.
So, are you doing nutrition kind of advice within the groups, or are you doing that personally?
Right. So the way I do the nutrition, right? So I kind of stepped away from trying to prepare meal plans for people, because that's a lot of work, as you know, preparing individualized meal plans, and then very frustrating when people don't follow them. Right. So I've totally moved away from that. So what I do is everybody's we have a WhatsApp group, and I educate on nutrition, right? So like the role of insulin, right? Why you need to control that, how you can control that.
Good. Right.
Processed foods. What I mean when I say processed foods, why you shouldn't be chomping on that all the time. Sugary cereal in the morning, why that's not such a good idea. Why you shouldn't really be feeding your kids that all the time.
Big time.
Right. So kind of having those broad discussions, asking for questions, trying to address people's questions, as opposed to preparing meal plans, because
you're just creating an awareness and an understanding of good nutrition as opposed to giving a set program of eating meal by meal.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good though, because it's important to educate and raise awareness, because people buy cookie cutter diets off the internet and stuff. I sit down and your first nutrition plan is pre-prepped, because I've had your food diary, I've had your 4-page questionnaire, we've done a kind of telephone interview most of the time, obviously before this madness. I'm still doing that, but then a sit down with me, whether it's virtually over a camera or in the room, as you said, is a couple of hours. So it's difficult to manage that at this time and distance. It's not so bad for me because that's what I do, but if you're busy running 4 classes as well, to get that time, it's actually probably a lot more productive to do it in the manner that you're doing, is to raise awareness and give people the information that they can kind of go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. I've got to eat regular, cut back on the process, don't snack at night, get my vegetables in, blah, 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 blah. So that's excellent. That's good stuff. So and none of us know. I mean, the criticism of Boris's delivery last night, basically very little has changed. Some industries are going back, I guess, to primarily help the economy. We can get more time outside, and outside of that, we're in the same boat, and there's potentials for change. I have personally mixed feelings about the school thing, because I've got my little ones at 3.5, who's at nursery, and Oscar's 8 in year 3. So they're excluded from the early go back. I think the year 6, I understand, because of the transition that they're going to go into senior schools and stuff. But I don't know how responsible other people are being, and therefore, you know, their kids' exposure, how they're eating, so resilient their immune systems are. I mean, both of mine are taking the probiotics and the vitamin D and the multivits and the fish oils.
Right,
you know, and that's for other people. Other people raise their children as they wish and what they kind of know about. But, you know, Oscar's loving his home tutoring anyway, and we're making sure that gets done. Without getting too kind of political on it, you saw Amaru talking about it. What's your thoughts on the current situation? Kind of where it's going to go, which none of us know, so it is speculation, but how it might change or not change what you're doing in the future, because it might be, yeah, that's it. Once that studio opens back up and going straight back in, because it's different for you. You're not running a big corporate gym. You can very much control social distancing because it's, you know, it's more of an exclusive personal training center. So how do you see the future of what we're going through?
Right. So, I mean, what I, as I said, you know, I really want to shift the conversation from weight loss to more health. Right. So I want to keep an aspect of online training, right? Because I can reach more people. And I've created a group on Facebook trying to get people into that group. It's called Healthy Hacks for Healthy Aging.
Oh, great. We'll get that link up. We'll make sure we get a link. So if you want to contact Marla, because it doesn't matter where you are in the country now, obviously, you can contact, you can join in, you can obviously go through terms, conditions, costing, etc. So we'll make sure we get that. We'll make sure we get that link up. Thanks for that. Okay.
Right. So
they get from that if they join.
Right. So it's just a Facebook group, and what I'm trying to do is to get people into the group so that we can share stories, ask questions, and talk about how are we preparing ourselves to age in a healthy way. Yeah, how are we going to get off these yo-yo diets? How are you going to get yourself to be able to travel at a senior age? Because, you know, a lot of people talk about, I'm going to be traveling the world when I get older. And then they get older and they can't get out of the chair, right? So it's about, you know, I mean, I see that, you know, I'm 57 right now, 57, will be 58 shortly. I have friends my age who I know they can't really do much traveling on their own, right? And I mean, I don't think I'm old, right? So you see, so I know that people are thinking about, I want to do this thing when the kids leave the house and they're off and they're independent. I'm going to save myself up or my money. They may say I've saved up their money to do those things, and then physically unable to do it, right? Because I remember traveling, I'll just tell a story, traveling with a group of people two years ago. And half of the group, we were all about the same age, half of the group had some kind of knee issue, hip issue. I was walking around Paris, prancing up and down with a much younger member of the group, right? And they were like, my knee hurts, my hip hurts, my ankle hurts. We're all about the same age, right? So I know people are being very unrealistic about what they think their future will look like because they're not preparing for that.
Cool.
Right? So I want to kind of shift the conversation to having people think a little more forward-looking.
Good.
All right. So if you join that group, that's the conversation. That's the sharing we're gonna have. At this point, it's not costing you anything to join. Right.
Excellent. Cool.
Right.
That's
and then with
pricing,
free. That's also free, people free, right? It won't be free forever, right? Because it's an idea I have, and I'm looking at how I would take it forward. And of course, with the physical gym, you know, it's a business. You know, continue running that, see how that grows. You know, of course, the issue with the physical gym is I'm limited to people in the surrounding area. And as you know, then you have to deal with the haggling over the price, and which is not pleasant, right? So, you know, we'd see how that goes. Yeah.
And I take it on top of that, you're doing the homeschooling as well. You got that wrong?
Yeah, of course, I got that route. Well, fortunately is that my husband and I share the homeschooling chores, right? So, but I must admit that the first week or two we had like, okay, I mean, had to say like, okay, you're 12. She was 11 at the time. She's 12 now. It's like, you're 12. please get up and do your work. Okay, we will not be having this argument every morning. So she actually gets up at 6 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's upset because some of the teachers haven't posted
Right.
the work yet because they're using this Google Classroom.
Yeah.
So, knock wood, we're not having issues with the homeschooling. She's doing what she needs to do. We're reviewing it. She and the teachers we're getting good feedback. So she's, that's working out all right.
That's excellent. And what are you doing for your own? Because if you're teaching the classes, I guess that's a good few workouts a day. So is that your exercise at the moment? Is the teaching aspect gives you your workouts?
Oh no, so another thing I try to do at the same time is, my husband is not, how should I describe that? He's not a gym buddy, right? He's not, but he understands you need to work out. So he, if I am there training with him, he does a bit more.
Yeah.
So we've been training together between the 7 and the 10 a.m. We tend to work out because I've been preparing for Armageddon, I say, for a long time. So my garage is fully kitted out. I have a squat rack, I have barbells, I have kettlebells, dumbbells, everything, right? So yeah, we've been getting in a decent workout most days.
That's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
So could we see a comeback? Do you think you'll ever don that bikini again?
Right, yeah. So you know what yeah, I've actually been that's just so much work. Yeah, that's the thing. That's just so much work. That's interesting. Every now and again it enters my mind, but it would take I would need to say, okay, yeah, I have the time. It's just so much work, man. Right? Yeah, I mean, no, you have to really want to do that, I think.
Yeah. And I think people underestimate that. I mean, the industry of bodybuilding, figure fitness, because, I work in a lot of different sports, but that has changed massively since I got into it. There was 2 or 3 federations. People knew, those were the places to be. Now it's so fragmented, which in a way is great. It creates an awful lot of opportunities for people to put different looks on stage as suits them, which is another thing I said to you. We discussed which category you were going to go in and this, that,
right, yeah.
You wanted to go the natural drug-free route, obviously, just so it's an even playing field for yourself. So there's a lot more opportunities there, but it's also created this thing that everybody that trains wants to compete. It's just like they think it's the easiest thing in the world. I've had people that have been training 3 months go, I would love to do a show. I'm like, oh geez, man. Okay, I'm not saying no, but it just become the trendy thing. And a lot of it is the Instagram era, as I call it. Everybody wants to be a PT, so everybody needs to compete. So they think it's going to make them famous. And to have done it properly, you've tick that box,
Yeah. And that's the thing I think that's the thing I neglected to mention is that when I said to you, I want to get on stage, you just looked at me and you said, okay, it'll be a year.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I thought minimum 6 months to a year. That I wasn't surprised by that because I did have kind of that conversation going on in my head. But I think a lot of people do not understand it. The first show, how much time it takes to get your body there. Because of course, we constantly see these transform your body in 6 weeks, right? You constantly see that all the time. So people coming in thinking, oh, it's a 6-week prep for the show. I could do that. Really? Right? Yeah, so people must understand what it really takes if you want to do it properly, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about Ravi. I'm sure you won't mind because he shared the story, but Ravi came to me a year before the competition that he competed in with you in Birmingham, the British Championships. And he'd been treated abysmally by his past trainer, but he had really pushed him into the ground to the point where I was like, I cannot take this on because he had, I don't know if it's 4 or 5 weeks left or something.
Yeah.
And he contacted Sean about his posing, and Sean said, there's only one guy that's going to help you healthily to do this with your training, your nutrition, everything. That's Cain. And he contacted me, and that was a great compliment. But when he told me what he'd done, I was like, my advice is don't do the show, not from a physical point of view. And he was way off there. I says, but emotionally, You know, mentally, you're going to go on stage and it's not going to go well. But physically, you've done a lot of harm. I mean, he'd collapsed in the gym. His blood pressure was through the roof. He had tachycardia, elevated heart rate. He was told basically no carbs. I mean, no carbs for about 3 months and high intensity training. I'm surprised he survived it. Honestly, it was horrendous. And his trainer turned around and went, "That's what it takes. This is the sport." That's not what that is not the sport. That is diabolical behavior from somebody who professes to be a professional and doesn't even know what the word professional means. So I said to Ravi, look, I cannot help you on this journey of self-destruction. If you want to do it, because he's held back, my family have bought tickets, says, you've got to do what you've got to do, but I can't be a part of that. Please take your foot off the gas a bit, go and do the show, enjoy it. It's probably not going to go great, you know, as far as your placement, which it didn't. But then he wanted to do it properly. He says, no, call me after the show. First thing I did was say, you need to rest up. Then we did some checks, as you know, do the bloods and all that. Bloods. Says, give yourself a good rest. And then we started that process for again, a year later.
Right.
That's, you know, I will get some people, especially if they compete before or if they come to me and they're in an amazing place, both physically and mentally, it might be shorter than that. But the minimum I want is like 4 or 5 months. Just to, you know, introduce before we go on to the pre-contest diet, which could be in itself 12, 15, 16 weeks. But, you know, when you want to do it properly, there's certain body parts to bring up, you know, it's getting into the process of it. It's not just about dieting away and then hoping for the best. So, you know, the fact that you stuck with that while you're opening a studio, while you're, you know, being a good wife and a mother and everything else that you are, you know, and at 55, you know, the results.
Exactly.
Don't wake up, go, oh, there's my abs after, you know, 3 weeks of dieting. That might happen at 25. It doesn't happen at 55 quite so easy. It happened. You proved.
But you have to put in the work.
Got to be, you know, consistent. We do all the physiological testing, the fat burning zones, and everything. So I absolutely applaud you that you did that. I was so chuffed for you. But I still remember, you know, when you came up and your daughter had said about, look, mummy, you've got abs. That to me, like, she's already won. You know, she's already won. I thought that.
Exactly. Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, she doesn't say that now because I don't have any abs, but
Cool.
Yeah, I mean that's the other conversation I want to kind of introduce and have with people is that, look, I think I look pretty good, right? I'm not going to get on stage. If I need to get on stage, I need to do I need to do more, right? But you do need to find what is that sweet spot for yourself.
Yeah.
What is that? I look in the mirror, I'm like, hey, I'm not bad, right? I'm not 25, right? So everybody is trying to be this thing that they are not, right? And it's like, you do need to, what's that happy place for you?
Good, yeah. And that's the big thing with social media. These, you know, kind of ideals are set, and it's always been around somewhat in the magazines and stuff, but it's, people are bombarded with it now, and a lot of it is fake. The six-week transformations. I mean, I know people that are big players in that whole area, and it's you know, A, you're getting the cream of the crop. B, it's very often, you know, 16 weeks, not 6 weeks.
6 weeks,
You don't know what else they're doing, but certainly I know a lot of people that have been involved with those trainers, advisors, coaches, whatever. And, you know, the people that you don't see, that aren't there, poster boys and girls.
Right.
And 90% of who they've taken on. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I put out on my website, you'll see pictures of my athletes. But I'm very honest, 90% of my work, same as your demographic, are regular men and women and working people and professionals and executives, and don't necessarily want to stand on stage. But by the same token, I'm not going to put their pictures everywhere as, you know, transformations. Some of them have had amazing transformations, but I personally don't feel right marketing that, because I'm not taking advantage of them. You know,
right.
They've hired me and paid me and trusted me for results for them. You know, and if they want to put pictures on their social media, that's for them. You know? Of the athletes, these are the accolades. This is not the cream of the crop, because I've had amazing results with you know, professional men and women. But you know, this is what they do. They're showcasing their physique. I mean, this is what you'll do. You step on stage, you're in front of an audience, in front of the judges. Placing that, and it markets you. When I put up about all these athletes like yourself and Sean Blackwood and all the others, hundreds you know, it gives you, very similar to the platform I wanted to share with you today, and I've done with Sean and stuff. It gives you something to share with your clients, and they maybe will go, oh, I didn't know that about Marla. And that's a
right, yeah.
Said that, you know, this gives me an opportunity to say thanks to you for trusting me, that I can put your details out there, and if it gets you a few more clients or more understanding or depth of knowledge from your current clients, because, you know, I think you're like me. Sometimes we're not big salespeople of our services. You know, we want to deliver over and above, and under promise and over deliver. Where you like the transformation gurus, they're the other way. They will sell you snake oil and gadgets and apps and blah, and that's all good. But they really deliver then for the, you know, 99.9% of their clients.
Yeah.
So hopefully some of your friends, family, and clients watch this and go, oh, that's, you know, it gives them a new spark of motivation. You know, the fact that you said how hard it was, the fact that you said it was a year-long process, the fact that you had doubts about doing it, the fact that you didn't totally stick to it to start with. These are human, you know, behavioural traits. But when it came together, it came together. But you know, we have to understand that not everybody has that drive or that ultimate reason that we took hours to discuss when I first sat down with you. If their driving force isn't strong enough, then we have to accept, and it's hard, and I know we've discussed, and they have to accept that they're going to get to a level which is an improvement of when they first came, but they're not maybe going to hit their dream because they are not pushing hard enough to that dream. They are not doing the required stepping stones.
Yeah, and I think that's what people need to become comfortable with, right? Because you come in with these grand dreams. And I mean, and I think it's okay. I mean, when I said I wanted to do it the second time, I think it's okay to shift gears, to say, you know, once you're like, really, do I really want to do it? I really don't want to do that work again, right? It's okay to shift gears. What I do want to do is to be healthy. What I do want to do is to be able to travel, whatever, see my grandkids, whatever your motivation is. That's really what I want, right? And make sure that that's what you're working towards.
Well, the thing is, if you do it again, just for Carnival, you know what's going to be done. You know, I know when you said you were going to Carnival that you were like, I don't want to look good in that outfit. And let's face it, you had to, because it wasn't covering an awful lot.
It wasn't covering an awful lot. I have to say,
stage bikini.
Yeah, that's what I had said to you, right? Carnival is like another show altogether, right? That you when you get that there. I mean, when you get that there, you know, I mean, one of the beautiful things about Carnival is all shapes and sizes come out, right? But there is this, the minute you hit Boxing Day in Trinidad, the gyms, you know, like for us, our busy period is January. For them, it's like the minute Boxing Day comes around, the gyms are packed. And people just keep going until that Monday, Tuesday, Carnival Monday, Tuesday, because everybody wants to look really fabulous in their costume.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
So how can people contact you? You mentioned there your Facebook page, which is the kind of business page. Is that the best medium for people to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook all the time. The page is Best Life Basics.
Sure.
And my website
is separate to the other one, which is a conversational type site.
Yeah. So so the business page is Best Life Basics, and my website and Instagram is the same, Best Life Basics. The website is .co.uk. Instagram is, as you know, at Best Life Basics. And then the group that I've recently formed, and I'd send it to you on the chat, is the Healthy Hacks for Healthy Aging.
Excellent. Healthy Hacks for Healthy Aging. So send them all over to make sure we get them right, because if you saw Amaru's, he's got so many different, like, bloody Sent me about 16. I was like, okay,
right.
But, you know, I want to say thank you for today, sharing, you know, an insight. I think, you know, for anybody that steps on stage, it's a massive challenge to do it at 55. You just amplify that to do that. 55 is a busy mother and wife, starting up a business and stuff. It was madness, but look what you achieved. Second place in Britain, and you've got that trophy forever. Nobody can take that off you, but you've also got, I think, and we just confirmed that, that belief in that if I do this and I work towards it, whether it's in business, whether it's in relationships, whatever it is, with getting through this coronavirus, madness. It is that head down, do what has to be done attitude,
yeah,
and you'll achieve it. So I want to say thank you for today, Marla.
awesome. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on.
More classes to do, so good luck with that. Get the links over to me when you can, and then I'll pop this up on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Great day. Stay safe.
All right then. Bye bye.